Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, today I am joined by Nathan Miller, the always excellent Microsoft product manager from Bytes. How are you, Nathan?
Yeah, good. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. And I guess actually I should probably introduce myself as well if people somehow don't know who I am. I am Rich Gibbons from Cloudy with a Chance of Licensing. Now me and Nathan have both been in the world of Microsoft for probably longer than either of us would care to admit at this point. So today we're going to be talking mainly about the Microsoft 365 Copilot. What is it? All the news around it. We're still a couple of weeks at the time of recording of it coming out, so who knows? It might all have changed by the time you watch this, but hopefully not. So we'll get into it. So Nathan, for somehow, if there's anyone out there who hasn't heard about Microsoft Copilot, doesn't know what it is, as a a Microsoft partner, have you got a nice quick overview of what Microsoft 365 Copilot is?
For those few people that have still sort of been under a rock and not managed to catch the sheer marketing push of Copilot, it's quite a lot of pressure. The snappy line. The best way to describe it, I think, is it's essentially Microsoft giving you, which was a virtual assistant. It's probably the easiest way to describe it. And we're discussing the modern work version today. So within the modern work apps that Microsoft have got, it's a virtual assistant that can help you in these, should we say, the more basic tasks, and do those basic tasks quicker or more effective.
I like that. Yeah, I think some of the examples I've seen, obviously coming out of Microsoft at the minute, because it's not generally available, but there was one from PowerPoint where someone just said, "Oh, make everything Times New Roman, font size 12, and make the background blue," and it just did it across the entire PowerPoint. And that's the kind of thing that obviously you can do it yourself, but it's a bit faster if you can get someone else to do it. And then I saw an Excel one, and I think for me, Excel is probably where I'm most excited, because Excel, I know how to do. There's a bunch of stuff I know how to do, but I have to like remember it every time I need to do it. So I know it's possible, but it's like it's a bit of a mission. So being able to say, do this formula or add me a column. I think the example Microsoft showed was like add a column that includes all the sales figures for Northern Europe for the last 3 years, and it just made it appear. That kind of stuff I think is pretty exciting, and I guess from a customer perspective, it's kind of working out, is that going to help us? Are we going to use it? But I suppose before we get into that, when is Copilot available, and pricing? We've seen some official stuff come out of Microsoft. There's some stuff that's kicking around on LinkedIn. Because there's a lot of different news, and there's lots of different. I think there's lots of different Copilots as well. Actually, before we get into that, I just call it Copilot, but technically it's Microsoft 365 Copilot. Yes. And there's a GitHub Copilot that's already been around for ages. There's sort of Viva Sales became Sales Copilot in Dynamics. And then I saw the other day that they were talking about Microsoft Copilot that's going to be in Windows 11, I think.
Yes, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
But that's different than Microsoft 365 Copilot, and as we saw many Microsoft things, there's all these different products, all the names are really similar, but for Microsoft 365 Copilot, it's general availability is November 1st. Is that right?
November 1st under the enterprise agreement.
Right, so it's enterprise agreement only. So this is something that I've already spoken to a few people about. It's not, at the minute at least, it's general availability, but it's not available generally because it's
Yeah.
enterprise agreement only. So no CSP, no anything else, just EA. So I guess enterprise agreement subscription. And is it? And I don't know if you know this or not. I've just thought of it now. Is it available for EES, the like education enterprise agreement, or is it just corporate at the minute?
I believe it's just under the EA agreement. The other customers can purchase, because you've got your EA, your enterprise agreement, and then you've got the MCAE, which is like the Microsoft Direct equivalent. Customers can purchase through that as well if they don't have the ability to open an enterprise agreement. Probably a conversation for another time on who can and who can't have an enterprise agreement. I guess it's also worth noting as well that there is a minimum order of 300 users as well, which may not have been expected for everybody when it launched.
Yeah, I mean that's quite surprising, isn't it? Because obviously when the first information came out about Copilot back in like May, June, they said, yeah, add on to Microsoft 365, E3 and E5, and then also the business premium SKUs, which max out at 300.
Yes.
So I suppose with it being enterprise agreement only, that kind of, no business customers are going to be involved in that at the minute anyway. But that minimum of 300, even for enterprise customers, it's quite. I mean, it's $30 a month list price, so that's what 108,000 a year minimum. Which even for big companies, especially at the minute, 100 grand is 100 grand. And for something where you're like, well, we want to test it out. I think I was expecting people would want to test it out with like 20 people,
Yes.
see how it goes, and then maybe start. So 300 from a cost perspective just for the licenses, but also like a proof of concept with 300 people, that's hard to manage.
It's a large proof of concept, yes. I think you've raised 2 points, 2 good points. The business standard, business premium question. Copilot will be the same price potentially. So if you're on an E5 plan paying £50 a month, an extra $30 or £25 might not be that bad. If you're on business standard, what is that, £9.40? You're gonna have to pay £30. The 300 user cap as well. Currently they're maxed out of it. And is it going to come to CSP? When is it going to come to CSP is the question. Can't come to CSP, in my opinion, with a order cap of minimum 300, because that doesn't sit in CSP. So will there be 2 Copilot offerings? Copilot for Enterprise, Copilot for SMB? Probably not. But does that mean that we're going to have to wait until July to see Copilot in CSP? There's rumours that would be coming in January, but I'm just sat back thinking Microsoft can't bring something for an year at 300, a minimum order of 300, and then say it's in CSP in January. It'd either have to have a minimum order of 300, which breaks CSP entirely, and it's probably too big for the average customer, or they basically say, no, there's no minimum order at all. So if you're that massive enterprise customer who doesn't want to do 300 users, you're just going to go buy Copilot in CSP and buy 20 of them.
Yeah.
So it's probably not coming as soon as we want for CSP either. Yes, I think people that may be under the impression that Copilot is sort of out the box and it'll work, it won't. And you can see that Microsoft are putting quite a lot of partner education out there, because they've had, it's going to be generally available soon, but it's been in public and private preview. They'll have had customers on this for quite a long time. They'll know where the issues lie, what they can do in-house, and what they need partners for. So partners should be developing an adoption change management practice. If they don't already, they should have a Copilot advisory service, because what will happen is the big marketing push for Copilot for Microsoft and then for partners when they can sell it will work. You'll buy it for 1 year, but then if you haven't made that return on investment, you'll just get rid of it for year 2, or you'll have it, but it won't be configured correctly. So it's not just out of the box. There needs to be adoption change management. People need to learn how to use it. Data needs to be in the right place, the right format, and security needs to be set up correctly. Put Copilot in there on day 1 without any security, you go into see files you shouldn't be seeing, or you're going to be able to action things that the company probably doesn't want to see. And I've got this image in the back of my mind. If Copilot's rolled out without any training, without any adoption change management, day 1, Copilot's probably going to be worse for productivity than it is better, because you're all going to get it. We're going to turn up and we're going to go into Outlook and be like, oh, look, it's just read this email for me. I don't have to read any of it. Or, oh, have you just seen what it does in Excel? Oh, have you just seen, this Teams recording from Teams Premium, and it's giving me all my actions. I don't miss anything. It's quite a good partner opportunity, because it's not just a license sale. It's there has to be a service around it. It has to be advisory. I guess there's the wider question on AI in general, and does the company have an AI strategy and a sort of governance strategy? And then partners have to be helping customers to quantify the return on investment, because 108k for the minimum order currently, there's quite a lot. If we're not on it showing them that it saved that many hours or it's improved that many jobs, someone looks at a spreadsheet, that's quite an expensive order. It'll get reviewed next year, won't it? It's all about Microsoft at the moment. In the conversation that we've had, and obviously it's not their sort of official stance, they've had lots of conversations, lots of other people. We're sort of looking at it like, how can you make that person's day more efficient? Because it's not taking anyone's job away. I know there's a bit of a theory of AI that it will actually replace the human. Well, it's not, is it? It will allow you to not read those 10 emails, only read the one, or allow you to create better, PowerPoints. But it's not actually going to remove your job, is it? At the end of the day, so it's more about making that user more efficient. The point on mental health is quite a good point. It's not something I'd considered, but it's about, I guess, getting the person's day to day to be more streamlined and giving them the hours back to do what might actually be their job, because it may not be someone's job to sit and build PowerPoint presentations all day every day. That'll be a small section of that job, like a tertiary aim. If they can do that part quicker, then it gets them back to the main job and the reason they're employed in the first place, I guess. So it's probably around that route and the streamlining of the day-to-day. It's almost like upskilling the user whilst not actually upskilling the user. Instead of sending that person on the one-day PowerPoint training course, they've done what they can do with their own PowerPoint skills. Copilot will make it look better. They worry about the content of it and what they put into it, and Copilot makes it look better. Going to say at some point there'll be a section within Copilot. Obviously, you've got the section within Viva now when it's got your working habits, how many emails you're sending, percentage of collaboration time. There'll be something that'll turn up within Copilot. Sure, that'll be how much have you used this for? Together we've created this many documents, and I'm sure they'll have some sort of return on investment part within there as well.
What are the sort of next steps? Because I know you've said already that you can't just turn it on. You need to have the security and the data. Is there like a sort of series of things that companies should do to get ready for it?
Yes, I think partners, because you probably need a partner to transact it generally. I think that customers should be working with their partners on obviously defining the AI strategy, defining the security strategy, and they need to assess. So you need to assess where the data is. The data, as a bare minimum, you need to have like the sensitivity labels on it, or the security setup to make sure people are not seeing what they shouldn't be seeing. There needs to be the wider AI strategy. For example, you unleash Copilot on everybody. People might start using ChatGPT to write their marketing emails and stuff like that. Is that fine? So there needs to be the strategy around that, i.e. leveraging those tools via the API. You own the data, which is good. Leveraging those tools to type in create me an email based on these USPs. You don't own that data. It's owned by obviously the publisher. So education on that, you don't want that. Was it the Toyota situation when Toyota? I know it was Samsung, wasn't it? When Samsung putting all their sort of intellectual property into that, which now they apparently don't own. So you need to educate the user on what they can and can't do. Probably should have some sort of persona-based, workshops where you sit down with your partner and work out Copilot. Oh, it's the same product. Copilot for finance is going to be different for marketing's use of Copilot and sales use of Copilot. So I'd suggest persona-based workshops to work out, how each different user is going to benefit from it. And then you probably want to take that one step further. You've built the personas out. You need internal champions within all of those personas, because they're the ones that are going to get you that return on investment. They're the ones that are going to be the early adopters onto it, that are going to start using it, that are going to report back if finance used it in this way because they're always in Excel, for example. If sales have always got it turned on because they don't want to miss anything from the meetings and they're getting the summaries from the emails and the meetings, etc. So I suppose it's assessments on data, assessments on, as you've mentioned, we've got this E3, this E5 SKU, but we only use Teams, PowerPoint and Word or whatever. Assessment on what you're using within the current sort of SKU, I guess for two reasons. Number one, to make sure you're using everything that Copilot can cover. But if you've got to justify 108k, if you've got something within your Microsoft license you're already paying for, and there's a third-party vendor doing the same job, maybe you didn't know that. So get rid of Zoom or Citrix or VMware or Symantec or whatever, because you've already got the product in your 365 stack already. That could free you up some budget to make the 108k minimum order for Copilot quite feasible. And then it's just working with a partner to deploy it. As an end customer, you can obviously go into the partner center. So your partner center, you can assign the licenses, but then do you need to do those personas, those training per persona, and working with someone to actually deliver training and to deliver the adoption change management? Those are probably my steps. We are going to see it, do incredible things, and I think that there's the perception that it may take people's jobs and things like that. Don't think any of that's going to happen. I think we've sort of maybe quashed that on this call. I think AI won't replace people. I think people using AI correctly will replace people.
It's a tool, and the people who can use it better than other people will be more successful. I think, yeah, I really like that. It's a great place to end it. So on that note, thank you very much, Nathan. It's been great as always. So thanks for all your insights. Thanks everyone who's watching. If you've got any questions, then I'm always up for LinkedIn connections, messages. I'm sure Nathan wouldn't mind you connecting with him on LinkedIn as well. Drop me a message, email, whatever works. If you've got questions, be more than happy to help. And yeah, thanks for your time. I will see you all on the next video, and I'll see you again soon, Nathan.
Excellent. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, everyone. Bye.